Hello, my beautiful people. My name is Andrew Street, and this is Street Talk. So initially I was going to go over my thoughts on PS2 classics coming to PS4, especially since they seem to have sparked an outrage across the internet, considering that Sony has not implemented backwards compatibility with PS3, PS2 classics, and PS2 discs. So instead of going over these lovely PS2 games, I have something else to talk about, especially considering there was a bomb dropped on the game industry last night in the form of a little announcement.
はい、皆さんこんにちは、小島です。本日付で、独立スタジオを立ち上げました。
It seems that the conclusion to the never-ending Konami shitstorm is finally coming to a close. As of last night, we found out that Hideo Kojima of Metal Gear fame, as of December 15th, no longer works for Konami. Coupling that together to form a huge announcement to drop on everybody, Kojima has formed his own independent studio titled Kojima Productions, which I have no idea how he was able to keep that name. And he has partnered with Sony Computer Entertainment, the creators and owners of PlayStation, to bring his first game console exclusively to the PS4. For months, we've been wondering what's going on at Konami, and we still really don't know, but we were wondering what's going on, what's Kojima's next step, where's he going, who's he going to side with, and PlayStation seemed like an obvious choice, and he eventually did go there. Now, part of this partnership would mean that the game is coming console exclusively to PS4. However, it has since been stated on the Kojima Productions website, as well as reiterated by certain people in the know on Twitter, that the game will probably launch on PC following the PS4 release. That's a pretty interesting thing, because it makes me wonder, does Sony own the IP, or are they going to own the IP that eventually comes out of this partnership? Are they just helping to pay for the game and then allowing it to go on both PS4 and on PC? Are they co-funding it? Is there some other source of revenue here? I don't think we really know. Either way, this is a really big deal, both for Sony and for us as gamers. Now, this is a big deal for Sony because they're getting a game from one of the most renowned game creators in all of the industry, something their competitors doesn't have, and that is a big deal for them. Now, for us, it's a pretty big deal because Sony usually does well by their first-party studios. You can look at Naughty Dog or Media Molecule and see that Sony typically gives them the room to express their creativity, to go down paths that they want, to test new things, to work on whatever projects they want to work on. So if we have Kojima Productions working in that type of environment, he may get the money, the time, the resources, everything he needs to make the game that he wants to make in the free environment that he needs, not the more restrictive environment that we assume he worked in Konami. More particular, Sony isn't afraid to give their teams some time to work on games. If you look at Team Ico, who's been in a development cycle for quite some time, maybe they're not afraid to give Kojima the time that he needs to make his games. In all, there's a lot that I'm still interested in. One, I would have loved to be a fly on the wall in the negotiations that made this partnership happen. You know, we know that Konami and Kojima had a breaking up a sort of negative relationship towards the end, so I would have loved to know when PlayStation came in and said, hey, come work for us. You know, was this a few months ago? Did it happen recently? You know, does Konami know? Was this a surprise when it got announced last night? Did Konami not realize this was going on? I'm also really excited for the future to see what Kojima has in store for us. Now, I do imagine that we're going to be looking at some sort of open world game, and of course that's pure speculation, but I really am excited to see what he's been working on all this, or what he's going to be working on in the future. You know, for all we know, he could have been working on a side project outside of Konami in his free time, or he could be starting from scratch right now, and in that case we probably won't see the game for a long time. But nonetheless, I am excited to see what comes out of this partnership, and I hope it's something new, something like off-the-wall crazy. You know, don't just be a Metal Gear clone. I doubt it will be, but don't be, please. Now, before I head out, guys, I wanted to say thank you for watching this episode of Street Talk. Remember to subscribe. You can catch the latest Street Talks. I'm going to try and do one about 2 times a week. And then you can also check out my podcast called Word on the Street that I host with my co-host Frankie, where we talk about the nerdy news and video game news every single week. It posts typically on Mondays. We record Sunday nights, so you can feel free to contact us on Twitter to get questions in for that. And until the next Street Talk, I'm going back to play Taco Master because Greg Miller has me hooked. Thanks, guys. Take care.